This week's parasha, Parashat Vayera, closes off with Avraham Avinu's most difficult nisayon, his most difficult test, where Kadosh Baruch Hu tells Abraham, take your son, et bincha et yechidecha asher ahavta et Yitzchak, take your most beloved son, and I want you to offer him up as an olah, as an offering to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Akeida Yitzchak, the binding of Isaac. And it's an event that really proves Avraham Avinu's Yirat Shamayim, his awe of Kadosh Baruch Hu, his Yirat Elokim. It really proves that Avraham Avinu is really willing to do whatever Hashem says. Even though sacrificing his son is the most antithetical to everything he ever believed in. You know, he's an ish chesed, he's believing in a monotheistic God that's a righteous God that doesn't want human sacrifice, but ultimately push comes to shove. Even when he doesn't get it, even when his own sechel doesn't fully make full sense of it, that based on everything he's understood and seen and his understanding of the world, he recognized, okay, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is above all of that, he's above all that I understand, and ultimately this event is such a great moment of revelation for Am Yisrael. It's a moment of such zechut, that the zechut of Avraham and Yitzchak, we awaken it every year on Rosh Hashanah, when we build a shofar, on Yom Kippur as well. It's a real massive event of Mesirut Nefesh, of willing to die for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The story of the Akedat Yitzchak. But I want to look at the very start of the story, because I saw some very deep ideas that really get it started early on. Says the Torah, Vayashkem Avraham baboker. Avraham woke up early in the morning after Hashem had commanded him to go. Vayahavosh et hamoro, and then he saddled his donkey. Vayikach et shnei na'arav ito, and he took his two servants that are with him. The Chazal tell us this is Yishmael and Eliezer. Vet Yitzchak beno, and he takes Yitzchak with him as well. It's interesting. Yitzchak, at times we're going to see his name as Yitzchak. At times he's called a Na'ar himself. And here we have two other Na'arav, Yishmael and Eliezer there as well, according to the Midrash. Okay, so we have ourselves Yitzchak. And he took with him some wood for the burnt offering, and they start going to the place that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them the direction of where to go. Then it says, comes the third day, Avraham looks up, and he sees a place from afar. Many people say Hamakom might here be a hint to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is such a difficult test. He saw Hamakom, he saw HaKadosh Baruch Hu, felt so far away. But Avraham now sees a place, he sees something very special far away. According to the Midrash, he looks and he sees a cloud over Har Moriah. He sees a cloud over Yerushalayim, over the Holy of Holies, and he looks and he asks everybody, "Do you see it?" Yitzchak saw the cloud, but Eliezer and Yishmael, they didn't see the cloud. Vyomar Avraham el Na'ariv, shvu lachem po im ha'chamor. Avraham then tells the two lads, "You guys stay here. Shvu lachem po im ha'chamor. You stay here with the donkey. Vani והנער נלכה עד כה, and we're going to go over there עד כה. ונשתחוה ונשובה אליכם. We're going to go, we're going to bow down, we're going to worship HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ונשובה אליכם, and then we're going to come back to you." Actually, over here, the Chazal tell us, the fact that he says, ונשובה אליכם, we're going to come back to you, it's a bit of a prophecy that ultimately, deep down, he knew that we're going to come back okay, that Yitzhak wasn't going to die today. But Chazal then told us that what took place over here, only Avraham and Yitzhak could see the cloud, only they could see this revelation, this spirituality above Har Moriah, and because these other two servants, Eliezer and Ishmael, the Na'arav, didn't see it, so he tells them, this Avodah is not for you. It's our job now to worship. There's something very special for me, my son, the Jewish people that's happening right now. Just like, Abraham had been elevated up to the stars and reached high levels, so too now we're going to elevate Yitzchak on this altar as well, reach him to very, very high levels. You guys, shvu lachem po im ha'chamor, you guys stay here with the hamor. Says the Gemara Nidad of Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. What does it mean, shvu lachem po im ha'chamor? Am hadomeh lachamor. Over here it says that you guys are like the hamor. The hamor symbolizes chumriyut. It's a donkey, but it's also the word for chumriyut, for the physicality. You guys don't see the spiritual. You don't see the cloud right now. You stay with the hamor. You stay with the physicality. This avodah is a little bit too spiritual for you. Now we're going to see in a second that staying with the hamor is also, this shvu lachem po is also a very high level of avodah, but it's not the same avodah that's going to be special for the Jewish people from Avraham Yitzchak. They're going to have to take a step away, go up to that revelation. It's a select avodah for the Jewish people. Then we're going to come back to you guys. But you guys also are going to have a pretty big avodah, but we're going to see in a second, it's more of the avodah of the chumriyut, of the physical, as opposed to the ruchaniyut, to the spiritual. So he tells them this language of, you guys stay po, and we're going to go ko. So we have two words over here, po and ko. Now what does it mean? Okay, you guys stay po means here. What does it mean ko? We're going to go over there. So says Rashi, ad ko. Klomar, derech mu'at lamakom asher lefanenu. We're going to go a little bit, ad ko. We're going to go to like a spot over here. But then Rashi says, "Umidrash agada ar'eh hechan hu ma shamar li hamakom ko yeh zarecha." If we go back to last week's parasha, when Hashem promised Avraham, Brit ben Betarim, you're going to have yourself so many children. Ko yeh zarecha. Thus, ko shall be your seed. You're going to have these children. And now HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, your main child Yitzchak, kill him. So what does it mean? Is it going to be ko yeh zarecha? Or is it not? So he's saying, we're going to go ad ko. We're now going to figure out, how does Hashem's covenant, how does the Brit Ben Betarim, how does that promise work with this Avodah that you told me right now to go and offer up my son as an olah? How do we reconcile these two things? That's the idea. We're going ad ko. We want to figure out about that bracha b'Kadosh Baruch Hu. How far is that bracha really? And then, as we said in the past, we quoted it in the name of Rabbi Khan, quoting Rabbi Soloveitchik, he says, but ultimately, he then says, ונשובה אליכם, we're going to come back to you. Because while we have a great service, we have a great avodah, we have to really serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but ultimately it's the job of the Jew to come back to the world, to be the Or LaGoyim, to go and spread the light, to spread the godliness, to spread HaKadosh Baruch Hu everywhere. So we're going to come right back to you. So right now, we have to go do something special, elevate ourselves, get to a certain level of connection, but then don't worry, we're going to come back, ונשובה אליכם. So Eliezer and Ishmael, they're going to stay po. They're going to stay here. But us, we, Avraham, Yitzhak, we're going to go up to ko. We're going to go over there. So I saw a really deep idea from Rabbi Yehuda Leon Ashkenazi, also known as Manitou. He was a big Algerian French rabbi who then made Aliyat to Eretz Yisrael. He has a lot of very, very deep Torah. So he focuses on this idea of po here versus ko over there. What is po and what is ko? We actually borrowed his idea back in this past year in Parashat Balotecha when we spoke about the 85 letters in the two psukim of the Sha'ar Nun, that special kiss, pe el pe b'Kadosh Baruch Hu, 85 letters, gematria pe, gematria po, the 85 that kiss. We actually brought down his idea over there to relate it to our Sha'ar Nun Divrei Torah, but now I want to look at his actual Divrei Torah as it relates po to our Gemara and to the actual word po, meaning over here. So like we said until now, Avraham tells them, Shvu lachem po im hachamor. You guys stay here with the hamor, ba'olam ha'chomri. You guys have to stay here in this physical world right now, because me and Yitzchak, we have to go up to a more ruchani realm. We see the cloud. The cloud is that one, we spoke about cloud and light, by Sukkot Divrei Torah, how the cloud is like not physical, but yes physical. It's the one, like it's the least physical thing we could see in this world is between clouds and light. So therefore, we see the clouds. We're going to a more ruchani, we're going to a more spiritual realm. Now says Manitou, says Rav Ashkenazi, he says as follows. We know when it comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have different names to represent different aspects of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, different lenses of how HaKadosh Baruch Hu relates to us. Now we know that the higher level name is the name of the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the name Hashem. It's actually so holy, we don't even pronounce it. We pronounce it instead as Adnut, the Aleph, Dal, Nun, and the Yud. But we know that the higher, more primary name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Then we have another name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Our next most famous name would be Elokim. Now Elokim is more connected to the physical world. It's more connected to nature. The word Elokim itself is the same gematria. It's the same numerical value as the word Hateva, the nature. Because that seems to be, that's the name that deals more with Hashem being the Almighty, dealing with the physical world that we have down below. So Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Shem Adnut, known as Shem Havaya, the Yud, the Hey, the Vav, and the Hey, those letters correspond to like a higher level of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even before creation of the world. And when we actually create the world, the physical, the Teva, the nature that we live in, Hateva, so that's Bereshit Bara Elokim. And that's the whole story, the whole first parak of the creation of the world. We keep seeing the word Elokim, 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 because Elokim, which we normally also translate as being more connected to the deen, to the justice, but that's because the boundaries, because that's the world that we live in. The world that we live in that's bounded by nature, bounded by the laws of nature. It's the physical world we live in. That's the name Elokim. Now we as Jews, we all know, we're going to yell it out on Yom Kippur, Hashem Hua Elokim. And then in Parak Bet of the creation of the world, it says that Hashem Elokim created the world. We know that both names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there's only Hashem Echad. It's only one. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. There's only one God, but there's different aspects and different levels of relating to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now we also mentioned that we said this in our Devar Torah this year for Parashat Bereshit, Yom HaShishi Vayichulu HaShamayim. We mentioned that as Hashem is finishing up creating day 6, He's finishing up creating Friday, and then we get to day 7, we get to Shabbat. So we take the last words of day 6, the first words of Shabbat, Yom HaShishi Vayichulu HaShamayim, the first 4 letters, Yud Kei Vav Kei. We have ourselves, even though the whole first parak of Bereshit is all in the language of Elokim, underneath the surface, if you see the hints, look at those first 4 letters of the last 2 days of creation, and what do we have? Yud Kei Vav Kei, that hidden underneath is Hashem. The higher name is of Hashem. The higher idea that Hashem created this physical world as Hashem before the physical, before Bereshit Bara. We can't think about what comes before the bet. We can't think about what comes before the two, before we actually have a world over here. But there are higher understandings that come before Yud Kei Vav Kei being one that we actually do try to grasp somewhat in some kind of lower kind of way. But ultimately, we know Hashem Hu Elokim. It's all one when it comes to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Actually, I saw the Leshem writes in his Sefer Hakdamot in Sharim, Shar Daled Perakei. He writes that in a mystical sense, the name Yud Kei Vav Kei is really the deeper source. With Elokim being this name of Hashem that relates to the physical world, that's an extension of the original source. That meaning Yud Kei Vav Kei is a holy name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and extended from that, we're going to get to Elokim. So he writes that if we take the Yud Kei Vav Kei is Gematria 26. A Yud, a Hey, a Vav, and a Hey is Gematria 26. But 26 are the letters Kaf Vav. But if you actually extend the Kaf Vav, if you spell it out with its milui means the hidden letters. Kaf Vav, Kaf is spelled Kaf and a Pei. Vav is spelled Vav and a Vav. So the milui of Kaf is the Pei and the Vav. The second letter is Kaf, is again Kaf Pei. Vav is Vav Vav. So if Kaf is Kaf Pei, the milui of the Kaf is the Pei. And if Vav is Vav Vav, the milui of the Vav is the second Vav. So we take the milui, we take the extension of the Kaf Vav, take the extension of the 26. If we take symbolically, spiritually, the extension of Yud Kei Vav Kei, so we have ourselves Pei Vav, and Pei Vav is Gematria 86, Gematria Elokim, because the name Elokim is like this milui, it extends, it's the next step. Milui itself, the word milui, is Gematria 86, because again, Elokim is the milui of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's the level of Hashem that's being made more graspable for this world. We can't understand Yud Kei Vav Kei, but to grasp it, we're now going to have a name of Elokim, which now is going to relate more to the world that we live down below, Bereshit Bara Elokim, the world down over here. Okay, now let's go to Manitu. So Manitu tells us, okay, as we just said, Elokim is Gematria 86, while Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Shem Havaya, is 26. So we have 86 and 26. He says, based on that, everything we said in our parasha now is going to make such beautiful, deep sense. He says, when Avraham sees that Eliezer and Ishmael, they can't see the cloud, they can't connect to that level of ruchaniut, of spirituality, so he realizes, Shvu lachem po im החמור. You guys got to stay here po, with the chamor, with the chumr, with the physicality. What is po? Po, Pei, is Gematria 85. 85 is one before Elokim, meaning 85 is the ticket to get to Elokim. If you want it, we can never fully grasp Hashem. So even Elokim, even this name of God that relates to the world that we live in, we can never grasp the 86. 86 is always going to be way too far. Elokim in its completeness, we can never have. But 85, one less, the po, is the petach. It's that opening, he writes, to begin to understand. As we spoke in the past, when Moshe Rabbeinu reaches the Shar Nun of Binah, the 50 gates of wisdom, -1, so the Chazal tells, how do we know that he didn't make it all the way? Why was he -1? Because it says, "Batachasreu me'at me'elokim." He has to take away a little bit from the Elokim. So when it came to the Shar Binah, he lost one level of Shar Binah. What we're saying now is the exact same thing, says Manitu. Elokim is 86, but the chesreo me'at me'elokim, if you take away a little bit from the Elokim, because we can never fully grasp HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so then what's the goal? The goal is to try to get to the 85. 85 is that petach, is that ticket to try to begin to understand what Elokim is all about. It's like that handle to try to grasp into, to try to learn a little bit more. It's the Avodah of being in this world, the Avodah of the scientists and studying the world to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's the Avodah of the other nations of the world, of the Ishmael, to see Hashem in this physical world. Therefore, when we're saying Ishmael, Eliezer, you guys stay with the Hamor, you guys Amadome the Hamor, you guys in the Chumriyut, we're not saying that in a negative way. We're saying your avodah is to try to get to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, Keborei Olam, like a creator of the world, like an Elokim, Hateva 86. It's your goal to try to understand this idea of Hashem who created and is part of this physical world down below. And the ticket to that is the word po. The ticket to that is the 85. You guys are in the 85. You guys stay po because your avodah can't go further than Elokim. But for the Jewish people, we have a higher level to try to ascend to. And it's just for us. For us, we have, and it's just for us, and it's not necessarily for all the time. It can be for a small moment. For here, they say, we're going to go for one moment, ונשובה אליכם, and then we're going to come back. It's like our Yom Kippur Ne'ilah services. When we reach this great, great, holy, holy levels, that's the koach of the ko. That's the koach of what's called koach gematria 25. So if the higher name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the one that relates more to the Jewish people, Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Hashem Havaya, is gematria 26. So what's our petach to 26? What's our ticket? We can never fully grasp HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so therefore our ticket to get in is going to be the 25. It's going to be the kol. That's our gateway. So if we want to get as close as possible to Yud Kei Vav Kei, to Shem Hashem, so our ticket is the kol. So therefore the rest of the world, they're going to stay in the pol. They're going to stay in the 85 and work on Elokim. But we, Bezrat Hashem, are going to work on the kol. We're going to try to get at least sometimes in life. Other times we're going to come back and we're going to spend our time trying to understand Elokim, trying to understand how Hashem runs this world down below. We're going to do that too. But we have a couple moments where we have these breakthroughs, these great big tests that we pass, where Kadosh Baruch Hu says, okay, I'm going to give you an opportunity now to serve me in a much deeper kind of way. Yud Kei Vav Kei is above nature. I saw a similar idea, quoting the name of Rav Uri Shirky, who I believe was a Talmud of Manitou, if I'm not mistaken, that Yud Kei Vav Kei comes through revelation, meaning Elokim is through this world over here. But to get to Yud Kei Vav Kei, you need a positive encounter with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. You need Hashem saying, "Hi, I'm here." And so, as opposed to Elokim, which is much more understanding Hashem through the physical world, through the laws of nature, through the more hateva, Yud Kei Vav Kei requires this more out-of-body type of experience, this more out-of-nature type of experience. When Hashem tells Avraham Avinu in the Brit Bein HaBetarim, He says, Ko yeh zaracha, this language of Ko. Your children are going to be Ko. They're going to be these ones that are going to have the ticket of the Ko. They're going to have the ticket to get to Yud Kei Vav Kei. They're going to have that 25 to have that grasp to try to get as close as possible to the 26. Where does Hashem give Avraham Avinu the Brit Bein HaBetarim? How does it happen? So the Torah tells us, last week's parsha, He uplifts Avraham Avinu up into the heavens, above the stars. The Jewish people are taken above nature, above teva, because we relate to a Kadosh Baruch Hu directly. We're above the mazal, and that's how he brings down that the whole idea of the Akeida was to try to elevate on this Ola offering, so to speak. We have the Midrashim that Yitzhak's even going up to Gan Eden to learn Torah up in Gan Eden. This concept of uplifting above the physical world. Like Yitzhak is known as that living Ola, that living sacrifice, who really is part heavenly to begin with. That's also this concept of uplifting us above the teva. If we look closely at those pasukim last week, Hashem took Avraham outside. He says, count the stars, and you see, Avraham, you can't count the stars. We mentioned once in the past that Avraham Avinu, while he maybe wanted to try to understand the Kadosh Baruch Hu, he came to a Kadosh Baruch Hu through recognizing, looking at the world, understanding the world. But now HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, as much as you think you understand, there's going to be a higher level. Similar to the Akeida. You think you understand how morality works, how my commandments work. It doesn't work. Just like you can't count the stars, just like you think you can't have kids, you're too old, I'm above nature. And I'm uplifting the Jewish people above nature. Vayomer, and then once he's above the stars, he sees he can't count the stars. He sees that he's above nature. Then Hashem tells him, Ko yeh zarecha. This is going to be your children. You have so many offspring. You're going to have a lot of kids. And then it says, Ve'emin Bashem. And at that point, we have the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Avinu believes in the Yud Kei Vav Kei. He recognizes that, there's a higher level over here. He's not focusing on Elokim right now. He's now above Elokim. He's above nature. Now he believes in a Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Yud Kei Vav Kei, the 26th gematria name of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. The berachav to Avraham Avinu to have these children is from the level of the ko. It's from the level of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. So too, the great beracha Birkat Kohanim, where Hashem Himself gives the beracha to the Jewish people through the Kohanim. Over there again, the same language. Ko tevarchu et bnei Israel. This is how you're going to bless the Jewish people. When we say that's the beracha from Hashem coming directly through the Kohanim. Again, it's this language of the ko. The beracha of the Jewish people comes from the ko. Says interestingly, Manitou, that when Yitzhak finally sees that cloud, he says from that point forward, we mentioned sometimes it's called a na'ar, sometimes it's called Yitzhak. Now all of a sudden we have Beni, we have my son, and we stop calling him a na'ar. He's no longer the na'ar. The na'arav, that's Ishmael, that's Eliezer, they're still on the level of the 85. But now Yitzhak is going to the ko. He's going to journey with Abraham above the stars, journey with Abraham onto the Mizbeach, onto the Holy of Holies, up to the Shamayim. But then, as we said, ונשובה אליכם, we're still going to come back to you. The Jewish people are going to still come back to this world. We're still going to stay grounded over here. We're still here to change this world down below, this world that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to be created. We have this world of nature that we're a part of. We're going to come back. So I think I saw what I think is a similar idea in the Akeida. The Akeida writes in Chumat Tanakh that he sees in this whole story of Avraham and Yitzhak going up, leaving them behind, going up. He sees this L'Shem Yechud Kudsha Brichu Shchinteh, this coming together of the different aspects of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, bringing together the Yud Kei and the Vav Kei, this concept of the different aspects of Hashem, this Hashem Hu Elokim, bringing it together. That's the story of right now, the Pul and the Kol. They come with the world. They come with Yishmael and Eliezer. They get to Po, Elokim, the lower level. They then go up. They serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Ko, the higher level. Then they come back. And that's the yichud we want of understanding that Hashem and Elokim both are true at the exact same time. Now, if I can add one little addendum. So I was thinking, if you follow the names of Hashem in the actual Akeida, so it starts off, Vayera devarim ha'ele v'Elohim nisat Avraham. And it says, now this is going to be a test from the level of Elokim, from the level of Din. And I mentioned once in the past in Rabbi Khan that this whole story of Korbanot, it's like the Korban of Yitzhak is coming from the name Elokim. Every Korban we know is only Yud Kei Vav Kei. And that's part of the hint that there's not going to be an actual Korban, that Yitzhak is not going to be offered up. But when we finally get to like the end of the story, so then it says, Vaykrash Avraham Shem Makomahu Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei Yireh Hashem Yireh. So we have ourselves this like Yud Kei Vav Kei coming in as well. So by the end of this, Avraham is recognizing they might have been elevated up to this level of the Yud Kei Vav Kei, because we said we're going from the Po to the Ko. We're going to try to get deeper into, yes, it's a test from Elokim, but ultimately it's a test to really understand that there's a Yud Kei Vav Kei above. So I was thinking maybe we can have a little bit of a remez, lanutati, a little bit of fun that says, it starts off this whole story Vayhi hara devarim ha'ele. And it was after these things took place. And we've spoken in the past, a peep shot. What event is this referring to? Is it about the Avimelech story right before? Is it talking about the Ishmael story? Is it talking about what story is Vayhi hara devarim ha'ele? What is this ha'ele right before? But I was thinking maybe we can have a little bit of a remez. Vayhi hara devarim ha'ele. So the mystics, they say that the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of Elokim, is actually made up of two words. Ele and me. Elokim is Aleph, Lamed, Hey, Yud, and Mem. And the Aleph, Lamed, Hey, the Ele, is talking about this stuff. What is this world that we live in? If Elokim is Ha-Teva, it's the physical world that we live in. So the physical world is made of Ele, it's made of things. It's a physical. But behind everything, there is we speak of the Yam, the 50, the Sha'arnon, the Bina, the part we don't understand. There's a Me, there's a Mem and a Yud, a Yud and a Mem. We have Gematria 50, which is always the hidden, the secret, the part we can't get to. The Me, it's the mystery. That in the world we have right now, we have the Ele and we have the Me. We have the hidden. So I'm thinking maybe that we can say as a little bit of a remez. And after these words of Ele, what is after Ele? What is after this physical down below? We're trying to get underneath it. We're trying to get to the Yud and the Mem, the Yam, to the Me, to the mystery, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the 50, the Sha'ar. No, we're trying to get to a deeper level. We're trying to get to Yud Kei Vav Kei. What is beneath the surface? What is really hiding underneath? What is hidden in beneath the higher level of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Vayhi achar devarim ha'ele. After the Ele, that means we're taking ourselves up to understand the level of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. We're going to the level of the Ko. We're going to try to get 25 to get to the 26. We really are trying to get to a higher level. Shabbat Shalom.